Alright, she is running. The idle's a bit inconsistent, which has always been like that. There's a cheap Amazon China carburetor I put on it. It's a 15 horse carburetor. I had to remove the restrictor plate. I put this on I think 2 years ago. And the idle sometimes is high, sometimes it's low. Like sometimes the idle will stay. Let me try to get it. No, that's a little too high. Yeah, sometimes the idle will stay about like that. It's a little high. This is about how I set the idle. And then a few minutes later, after it warms up, it gets lower. So if I reset it high when the engine's cold, then it's really high idle until the engine warms up, which takes about 10 minutes. So I just have to deal with it the way it is. But the control box is hooked up. We have forward, neutral, reverse, new cables. Right now she's in neutral. She's in forward. Back to neutral. And we're in reverse. I heard it click. And I see the water splashing up from the prop. So much nicer having a bigger rear deck. So yeah, I did make progress. I just didn't video it. Actually, I made a video. I'm not gonna upload it. It's a 24-minute video of me installing those cables. You really can't see much. It's just me talking. It's just I figured no one's gonna want a 24-minute video of me under the boat, crossing over the trailer, running the cable, running it up, putting the control box together. I figured no one's gonna want a video of that. So I'm not gonna upload it. I'm happy. A problem, you see right now it's low idle. All lights still on, it's off. Another problem I had when I tried to run this yesterday, as soon as I hooked up that battery to the isolator and charging system, I lost fire to everything and none of my 12 volt worked. So I took the isolator out. I've had this problem before in the past. About a year ago, I have a video with the battery isolator, and it was the same thing. Anytime you hook up a battery with different voltage, because the house battery in the front was being constantly maintained by this charger. The starting battery I had often just sitting in the yard. So the starting battery was at 12.7 volts, while the house battery was at 13.2 because the charger was maintaining it. So the isolator detects a voltage drop and shuts down completely. It's like a safety system. So I had to wind up charging both batteries full charge. So last night, that's why I jumped my wires right here. I got the battery charger. This battery charger goes to the front house battery bank. This battery charger goes to my engine. So both of those batteries should be at 13.2 volts. So now I can put my battery isolator back on and I shouldn't have any problems. So, but right now I have no 12 volt power unless I hook up this to one of the batteries and turn the Perco switch on. Yeah, and I should have 12 volt power. But I want to go through all my connections, make sure everything's working right. So yeah, like I said, I hadn't done a houseboat update in a while. Now the engine's back going, I can finish off my rear deck, put up my railings, my posts, do some minor sanding work and put it in the water, and just, I'm not worried about painting it right now. Paint's gonna come later. But I do need to get my 12 volt system organized. I would like to get this thing in the water, but I have a problem. Our main bridge that goes to my lake is broken. Closed to boat traffic. And the set of locks right before it, so if I launch on this side of that bridge, it's stupid. I don't understand the reason. Nobody down here understands the reason. They keep the locks closed and the tide is the same on both sides. So with the locks closed, the vegetation piles up in the locks. So you got to go through a 1/4 mile thick, heavy vegetation full of logs and debris and trash just to get to the lock, because they don't let it out, they just let it pile up. And there's so many boats got damaged propellers from trying to do that. The whole community is complaining about it right now. Small boats cannot pass through the locks, and we cannot get across the bridge to get to the other boat launch unless we want to take an hour-and-a-half drive around the lake. So I guess now I'm not in a hurry to put this in the water because I can't access my local lake. I could go launch further to my northeast in the town of Berg, but I don't have a place to dock this overnight. So if I launch in Berg, it's pretty much you use a boat, you pick it up. I got no place to park it and leave it in Berg. To where if I launch it down here, I can leave it down here at my father's house, and this thing can stay in the water for a couple of weeks, and whenever I got free time, I can just go use the boat. That's pretty much how I've been doing it since before February when I picked this thing up. So yeah, so now I think I'm gonna take my time, finish the work I need to finish. I'm probably finally gonna finish the shower trim, stop using the shower to store all my junk, get all the shower working, and maybe finish my trimming and my door trim. And I've got to re-secure some of the ceiling panels, little brad nails from bouncing down the highway on the trailer. Brad nails don't hold good, so I may put a trim strip here, and I'd probably have to put a trim strip in the middle because there's a gap right there. But the only place I can attach to is where my beams are. And man, I've been thinking about moving my TV. I've already moved the TV antenna. I ran a new cable to isolate my TV antenna coax running by my power wires, because whenever I would turn on my bow lights at night, I lose antenna service, which is not a bad thing because I don't need to be watching TV while I'm driving anyway. But I'm thinking about, before making this panel, I have to pull all my trim off, drop this panel, and I want to run the TV on this wall because it sits bow high. I sleep on that side of the bed at night when I'm in the boat. But if I want to watch TV, I can lay down right here, but it's not. I like to sit up and watch TV, okay? And it's kind of hard with the shelf here that I put. So I do have 12 volts running down into this wall. This 12 volts comes to here and powers a 5-volt USB charger. So I could always tap in, put the TV on this wall. That way I could sit up in bed and watch TV. I put the TV there because I usually sit in my stool, my captain's chair, which is not here right now, and I can watch TV while I'm on anchor, and I can still see out all the windows. So maybe that's a better option to leave the TV where it's at. I'm debating, because I mean, how often I'm gonna lay down and watch TV? I can easily just put my pillow on this side to watch TV when it's time for bed. So I think I'm gonna leave it there. I'm just debating about that. Did install a Marine VHF radio. Nothing else changed. I still don't have a water heater. It's 86 Fahrenheit outdoors, 94 Fahrenheit indoors. I had the AC on. I turned it off about an hour ago to play with the wire on the motor because I had the doors open. I need to run to the key and back and forth to figure out my wiring problem. But that's all sorted. My next problem to sort is battery isolator. I need that battery isolator. The battery isolator, if you're not familiar, that allows my engine's charging system to charge the motor battery, and once the motor battery reaches 13.2 volts, any extra charge is diverted through those wires into the battery isolator. The battery isolator then takes that extra 13.2 volts and it sends it to my 2 house batteries. This way my motor can charge the house batteries, but my house batteries, I can run my house batteries down and it will not draw down the fire on my start battery. That way, no matter if I run my house batteries completely dead, my engine will still fire up, which it wouldn't matter to me anyway. This thing starts up easy with the pull rope. But that's the purpose of the battery isolator, to where my motor will overflow voltage to charge the house, but it will not draw fire from that battery, I think below 12.7 volts. So once the voltage reaches 12.7 on that battery, this device shuts off and no longer lets voltage pass. So that's why I have to have the battery isolator. Is very important. And I still didn't really organize my wiring. I will eventually. And water heater, I'm thinking about a propane water heater on the back over here. where I could tap into the wall, into my shower access, and tap in hot water here. That way I have hot water here and feeding the sink. I think that would be my best route for water, hot water, because in order to run an inline electric, my little 2,000 watt generator cannot run an electric inline water heater. It probably could, but that means you can't have the AC on at the same time the water heater's plugged in. So I mean, I could make that work, but I figure instead of going the inline route, it'd be better with propane. It'll be hot water on demand, and I don't have to run a generator to have hot water. Because most time when I'll be using hot water, it'll be winter time, and I won't really have the generator running unless I do have a diesel heater for here to provide my heat to where I don't have to have the generator. But if I don't have diesel heater, then I'll have to run a generator to run an electric heater. So I have two heating options for water and heating air. So that's something I need to think about what I'm doing, what I'm gonna do with it. And water tanks, I'm gonna see how this floats with the longer deck and the two added barrels on the back for buoyancy. They're gonna be just halfway submerged, so that's gonna supply another 225 pounds of buoyancy lifting the rear. Before my draft, before I added the two barrels in the rear, with my water tanks on the bow, I had a 2-inch difference in draft. My bow was high, which is what you want in a boat, a bow high. So now I'm gonna see how much those two barrels affected, and I may move the water tank. I want the water tank indoors under this bed, because during the winter my water tank's outdoors. I gotta stop it from freezing if we ever get a freeze. To where if my water tanks are indoors during the winter, this is gonna either be on shore power or being used, and that cabin is going to be heated, less chance of water freezing. So there's a lot of things for me to think about before the thing goes back in the water, but I'm hoping soon. I wanted it in the water this weekend, but they give bad weather for this weekend, and I wound up having a side job that came up, and so it's not going to be in the water this weekend. And plus, even if it was in the water this weekend, the locks on Bayou PT Caillou and Chauvin, those locks are screwing everybody over from passing through. And then once you pass through the locks, the bridge to get into the lake where I go to is non-operational. So there's that. But I do have other options to launch elsewhere, but as stated, no place to tie up and dock. That means the boat will have to be trailered every night, and I try not to trailer this if I don't have to. All right, thank y'all for joining me on this little update. I'll catch you on the next one. If I don't think I'm adding anything else to this video. I may add at the very end a short 1-minute video of the first startup. I want to say I last ran this motor in April. I fired it up on land, and before that it didn't run since February. So I'm happy it fired right up first crank. I did have an electrical issue. My terminals were corroded on the battery and I wasn't getting any fire, but that's solved. So yeah, I'm gonna add that video to the end of this one. Thank you very much. See y'all on the next one. Okay, first start up in months. I've already primed the bubble, got the water on. Let's see what she do. I gotta pump it 3 times. The accelerator pump. Would you look at that? At least 3 to 4 months as it ran. Very happy.